Hey folks, it is the Nutty Knife Guy with, you guessed it, knives. Sub-Hilt knives. Because Sub-Hilt knives are the coolest knives. At least I think so. This isn't a review or even philosophy. It's just I'm going to exude about how I came to love Sub-Hilts, why I love Sub-Hilts, and I'm actually going to try to think about how and why I like Sub-Hilts so much. So, the story begins, boys and girls, as the Nutty Knife Guy, about 3 or 4 years ago, was surfing knife porn because he's the Nutty Knife Guy and he surfs knife porn. And by knife term I mean looking for beautiful, cool, interesting knives. And I came across a picture of a Bob Loveless Sub-Hilt fighter. Bob Loveless, the legendary knife designer. But I couldn't afford $1,200 for a knife. I will probably never be able to afford $1,200 for a knife. But I looked at that Sub-Hilt and I said, that looks pretty cool. And I started trying to imagine how something like that would fit and work in the hand. So I started looking for cheaper alternatives to the Bob Loveless Sub-Hilt. And I came across this, the Mtech 2040 for 20 bucks. And I'm thinking, well, I don't know if I'm going to like the Sub-Hilt when I actually handle one. So even if I had $1,200 to blow on a knife, I don't know if I would until I actually got to handle one. So for $20, I figured if I hated it, big deal. I still had a pretty nice looking knife. I like the black and silver. So I ordered this and found out that I like Sub-Hilts a lot. But a friend of mine asked why I like Sub-Hilts because he saw that I had a lot of Sub-Hilts in my collection. Actually, I posted a picture of my collection and somebody got to me online and posted online asking me why I like Sub-Hilts so much. And the thing of it is, other than I thought they looked cool and the general feel of the knife was better, I couldn't really answer it. So I started thinking, and I started playing with my Sub-Hilts, and I started to realize that it's kind of all an extension about the way they feel in the hand. You get this in here, and you know this knife is not going anywhere. It would be harder, I can't say, to disarm someone with a Sub-Hilt. And of course, if you're swirling it around, it's got this point of contact where even if the grip is slippery and your grip slips, you've got this point to keep it in your hand. That's good. But I can't really go out right now for a lot of reasons. I could have gone out yesterday, but I had spent all day at various doctor's appointments and stuff like that. And by the time I got home, even though it was a beautiful day out, I just didn't have going outside in me because I was running on 3 hours of sleep, so I could get to all my doctor's appointments and my sister-in-law's doctor's appointments, because I was her ride. So I was down here messing with them. Anyway, I found that when you swing one of these and you hold one of these, it's instead of having the hammer grip, which most people is natural, the trigger, the Sub-Hilt almost forces you when you start to swing to get that 45-degree angle for a slice, and it helps indexing to get good edge alignment. It makes getting good edge alignment easier. And for chopping, I think, and this may just be me, I'm actually kind of asking for input here to help figure out why I like these out so much. It's kind of knife. I will learn to speak. It's kind of like knife psychoanalysis here. That when you chop, this actually kind of acts as a fulcrum to give you a little more zip in your chops. Right. So $20, and I really, really like this. I liked it enough that I bought not only bought another Sub-Hilt, I bought a more expensive Sub-Hilt. I bought the Gilhibben Sub-Hilt, Here Come the Airhole Smokes Tactical Assault Knife. Again, every time I mention this knife, and I mention it a lot because it's a good example of a lot of stuff I talk about, I have to mention the fact that there's nothing tactical about this knife, and it's not an assault knife unless I go out and assault somebody with it, which I'm not going to do. If any of my knives are used in a combat capacity, it will be in defense of myself, my family, or an innocent life. And since I don't carry this one's probably never going to be an assault knife. But I digress. I went out and bought this Sub-Hilt. It cost 3 times as much as the other, and I really like it. Now, even though this is a much higher quality knife, it has some design points which make it a little problematic in my opinion. Even though I love it, there are things I wish they had done differently. I'd like a little more finger room because I've got big meaty digits. I broke this finger I think twice, and it barely fits in there. And it has these backward facing, downward facing quillons on the guard, which when reversed, this one digs into your palm. But it's still a beautiful knife, and that Sub-Hilt does aid in the edge alignment and gives you a little bit more force, I think, in slicing and cutting. So, am I right about that? I guess that's a big question. Those attributes. Am I right about what a Sub-Hilt does? And is that why I like it so much? Or is it just completely subjective? I like Sub-Hilts because I like Sub-Hilts. Now, my third Sub-Hilt knife was another Mtech. This is an Mtech Extreme. I think this is something like the 804 or model M80. 840. But my old eyes can't really read this in this light. Maybe it can now. Okay. I can almost make it out. I think this is the 8040. I'm not sure. I'm not, like I said, old eyes, tiny print. But this, I think, is a ripoff of Bill Johnson fighters. Bill Johnson is another well-known knife maker whose blades I will not afford, barring winning, not be able to afford, barring winning the lotto. And it has a nice Sub-Hilt. It has a nice guard. And again, it just locks it in. Now, this is even, when it comes to slicing and cutting, because of this beautiful recurve here, the slicing and the cutting, I think, are enhanced greatly by this Sub-Hilt. I did a review on this. It's an Mtech. I've beaten it up. I think that's. I know I reviewed this on my on my Fighting Nerd channel, but that channel's gone now. I think I also did this or reposted this review on the Fighting Nerd. If not, I'll do the whole video over eventually. But the Sub-Hilt, right? You can bring it in a hammer, and if you have to pommel strike, do a pommel strike for any reason. It even makes that more secure. It makes the swings more secure. It aids in edge alignment and indexing, and I think and that's why. But, if people have Sub-Hilts like this one, if they have a Bill Johnson, I'm insanely jealous. If you have one that's something like this, or you have this model, do you like the Sub-Hilt? Really want to know this, guys. Blade psychoanalysis. A new field. Okay. Am I deluding myself that the Sub-Hilt does anything at all? And then we've got this big boy. I know I did a review on this on my channel. This is a Timberwolf Massive Micarta Bowie. This is what they actually call it. if I remember correctly, this is a 13.5-inch blade. Excuse me, a 10.5-inch blade on a 15-inch overall, I think. I don't exactly remember the specs, but for this video it doesn't matter. Now see, this one doesn't have the downward facing quillons, but it gives you that good hand protection if you need to fight off a lizard man zombie ninja. And for a knife this big, and it's got a lot of blade weight, like a lot of buoys do, this Sub-Hilt is great because it really keeps the knife from coming out of your hand, and it helps when you're chopping. Like I said, it goes around your finger like this, and it's kind of like a fulcrum. Now, in this particular one, the handle's long enough where if you really want chopping, you don't even have to use a Sub-Hilt, which is really cool because then you can really lay into a log. But you can use the Sub-Hilt to keep it nice and secure. Interestingly enough, and I'm just mentioning this because when you go to buy this, all the pictures on the sales pages that I've seen for this have these quillons facing downward. I don't know if they just got a knife that quality control was asleep on, and the knife they used for that picture was assembled wrong, but this is what you really get if you buy one of these, just as an aside. But again, see, you can just see how that, I'll see if I can do this in slow motion. You can almost see how that pivots around the hand, and I really think that helps in doing a lot of tasks. Okay. Now, I had another Sub-Hilt. I know I did. But I don't know what I did with it. Where's my cold steel Marauder? Wait one, I have to go find my cold steel Marauder. I just had it with me. I may edit this whole while you're waiting out. I may not. I'm mercurial. Alright. Sorry about that little problem there, folks. I thought all of these had these within arm's reach, and I didn't. Then there's the cold steel Marauder. Now, when I ordered this, it was with great anticipation. And I like this knife. It is a very, very good knife. I reviewed it. You can watch it. Just look at my look at the videos on my channel. But the guard and the Sub-Hilt are plastic. It may be a good quality plastic, but it just doesn't inspire the confidence of having a nice piece of bronze or stainless steel, or excuse me, brass or stainless steel. And the same can go for the Sub-Hilt. It has the same properties, but it's plastic, it's small, and it just doesn't inspire confidence. Not saying it's not a great knife. It's a great knife. It performed magnificently. I didn't think this thing really had enough heft in it to chop effectively, but it did. I took down a small tree with it. So, but this has all the qualities that I like in a Sub-Hilt, but because, and then this might be psychological again, knife psychology, because it's plastic, I just don't have as much confidence in it as I would like. And last, but certainly not least, I love Sub-Hilt's a knife that I had a custom one made. I did a review on this, the Ultimate Fighting Knife. This is my Blessed Warrior fighting knife, based on a knife carried by the Brandel Selkirk character in a novel I've written. And it is, of course, a Sub-Hilt. Now, this really doesn't have much of a chopping capacity. You can. With great effort, I did go through a rather large stick with it. But it's not made for that. This was, like I said, it's the Ultimate Fighting Knife. My idea of the Ultimate Fighting Knife. This is designed for fighting other people in close quarters, or actually lizard zombie man ninjas. I would never fight a person with this. No. It was never intended for personal protection unless it was for lizard zombie man ninjas, because they're everywhere. But the Sub-Hilt, it gives you confidence in handling. If I were going to do it again, I would extend this out. I would extend the guard out at about this far, and I would extend this out further. Somehow or rather, in the manufacturing process of the maker, which is a great company, the Kukri House, and Kukri is spelled K-H, Kukri, not like regular, not the way it's spelled K-U, like regular Kukri. Don't get them confused. They do great work. This is a fantastic knife, but I think maybe either my drawings weren't quite clear enough, or there was just something that these were both supposed to be slightly longer. I'm not knocking the Craftsman. I love this thing. I'm going to order another knife from them eventually. I might have them make me this. But with the modifications I made. But again, even in thrusting, this gives you a little bit more confidence. It locks that into your hand. This one has a nice skull crusher on it. Okay, glass breaker. I mean, all these knives are calling them glass breakers. If it's on a fighting knife, it's not meant to be glass. If it's on a tactical knife, maybe. If it's on a rescue, a police or a fire rescue knife, it's a glass breaker. But if it's on a fighting knife, it's a skull crusher. I hate people watering down language. Like used cars. When I was a kid, you went to a used car lot to get a used car. Now they're pre-owned because it sounds better than used. Another digression. Anyway, so this is something, and the next knife I'm making, I'm getting a purpose-made EDC fighter. Probably in May or June I'm going to order this. Already got it drawn up and specs and everything. I'm just waiting to be able to afford it because I want other toys. I have a list of toys, you see, a priority list. And right now the toys that go boom are getting priority over the toys that are sharp and pointy. Anyway, if you like Sub-Hilts, in the comments, tell me why. I really want to know, because I want to know why I like them. I kind of know what I'm liking, like them, but is it just self-delusion just because I like the way they look? Or is there really some tangible advantages to having a Sub-Hilt? If you don't like them, tell me why. You're wrong, but I want to hear why you're wrong. So I guess that's about it. I realize this is not the most substantive video that I've ever done, if I've done any substantive videos. I suppose that's up to debate. And but anyway, communicate. One of the reasons I started this channel was that I wanted to find out why other people like knives and what kind of knives they like, and spread the word about the greatness of knives. Okay. So, once again, I must ask you to remember that to draw your blades only in just purpose. Sheathe them only in honor. And remember that without knives, life would be dull and pointless. This is the Nutty Knife Guy, bidding you goodbye.